Good evening, and welcome to the Phantasmagorium. I am your host, the Creeper of Channel X. For those of you with siblings, have you ever felt envious of your brother or sister over something they had that you did not? Perhaps felt disdain at the sight or sound of joy emanating from their procurement or use of said thing? Tonight's tale of two sisters puts the violin in violence. Without further ado, we present And the Violin Played On. I can't remember when it started. It seems like I've spent an eternity in this hell, but I'm sure it hasn't been more than a few days. Or is it a few weeks? It's always there. Day or night. Never stopping. Never starting. Always there. That sound. I've tried closing my bedroom door. I've tried wearing headphones. I've even tried turning up the volume of the music in my room, but nothing works. It's always there, piercing my eardrums like someone shooting an arrow through them, over and over again. The infernal racket. When my big sister first told my mother that she wanted a violin, I didn't care. I thought it might be fun. I thought she'd learn how to play it. Thought she might use it for a few minutes each day until she became bored of it. But that isn't what happened. Since she got it, she hasn't set it down. And I don't just mean that she plays it a lot. I mean, she literally does not stop. I thought she would eventually get tired and fall asleep. She hasn't. My mother acts like she doesn't notice. She just goes about her business as usual, as if nothing strange or out of the ordinary is happening, like she doesn't even hear it. I haven't slept in days. I can't. That sound just keeps drilling into my head like a corkscrew. It's gotten unbearable. I must bring a stop to this. It was almost 3 a.m. when I rose from bed, having not slept a wink. I opened my bedroom door and walked out as quietly as possible, creeping down the hallway through the darkness. When I reached her bedroom door, I paused for a second and knocked. No response. Not even a break in the sound from her violin. I twisted the door handle slowly, pushing inward while I tried to get a glance inside. There were no lights on in her bedroom, but the moonlight shining through her window formed a perfect backlit halo around her, standing in the middle of the room, playing that dreadful piece of wood. She was just a silhouette. I felt for the light switch on the wall and flipped it, only to see nothing happen. Now, you may think that this was a problem, but it only made my job easier. I walked toward her, making no sound. I now stood next to her, looking directly at her silhouetted face, while she continued doing what she thinks is playing, paying no attention to me.
Sarah?
I said. No reply. She just kept playing without so much as a flinch. It was then that I decided that the time was right. I had one arm concealed behind my back, which I now pulled forward, revealing the machete that I had taken from the garage earlier. I raised it above my head, looked at the glow around it from the moonlight, and then came down as hard as I could right on top of my sister's head. A dull, wet, chunky sound brought the atonal music to a halt. The blade rested in her head, blood flowing from the impact point. Complete silence. What relief came over me. I felt the tension drifting away. But I then heard a quiet whimpering sound. I knelt and put my ear close to my sister, and heard her whispering. I couldn't make out the words, so I leaned in even closer. She spoke.
Don't stop playing. Why?
I asked. She could not answer. I knelt there next to her, confused. Then, a slight change in the reflection of the moonlight. From the darkness in the corner rose another silhouette. My eyes widened as I tried to remain still. This shape was not that of a person. It was probably 3 feet tall and almost as wide. Whatever it was moving in my direction. Not knowing what to do, I recalled what my sister said. I grabbed the violin and bow off of the floor and started dragging the bow back and forth across the strings, making the horrid sound of dying cats that had only stopped a few moments prior. The cacophony of sounds filled the air once again, as they had for an eternity before I stopped my sister from playing them. The thing in the shadows stopped advancing and started moving back toward the corner from which it came. I've now been here for 3 days, making these horrible sounds come from this violin. I can't stop, or I know it will come out of the corner again. I can't stop. Music. The sound that soothes the savage beast. Although, one must be careful not to attract the beast with that same music. Until next time, sweet nightmares.